Welcome right here at the one and only Metroflex Gym in Plano, Texas. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome, man. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Kevin Bright, aka Gnarly Horse, and I am a amateur strongman who trains at Metroflex Plano.
Awesome. And moving forward, can you talk to me about one of your latest or actually talk about your most recent competition and also about the upcoming competition that is about to come up in the next few weeks, and we'll go from there.
All right, so my last competition was my last novice weight class, which was American Heroes Classic 4. That was my first time I got first place, and now I'm competing in Open, which my next comp coming up is Celtic Clash 3, a heavy emphasis on stone lifting competition, and I've been prepping for that. We are 3 weeks out.
Oh, awesome, brother. And let's go ahead and travel back in time. Just let's say about like a few months prior to American Heroes, and we'll just talk about the Ronnie Coleman Classic. So let's talk about the Ronnie Coleman Classic back in August of 2024 and how it went, and also how much you progressed from the Ronnie Coleman Classic up to American Heroes, and we'll go from there.
Oh yeah, so Ronnie Coleman Classic was my first competition where I actually got professional coaching to prep for it, which the results came really well. It was also kind of a little bit of a short notice to prep. I think I only had like 2 months or so to prep for it, but I ended up getting like second place out of like 17 or 19 athletes in my weight class.
Oh wow!
Which is a really, pretty good. Not my first comp, but a pretty good, novice comp considering how much I was competing against. And with how short time I had to prep for it. I know some of the events included like a max mammoth bar deadlift, which ended up going way better than I expected. I did a final attempt of 610, which moved so fast. I've never had 600 pounds move so fast.
And that 610, it looked like it was like a 405-pound deadlift.
Yeah.
And with like taking second place out of like 19 guys, was that like the best you've done at that point?
So I also got second place at American Heroes 3 with the same amount of people, and I got also got pretty close to just a hair from tying with first.
Gotcha.
I think it was like a half point away. So I think it was that point where I knew I had a lot of potential and I wanted to get better. So I got a professional coach to help me.
Awesome, and having that professional coach working with your deadlift, I believe it improved in like 80 pounds in like less than a year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all just from simply just correcting your technique and your form, and also your performance on the rest of the lifts, especially the strongman lifts, have been improving like crazy too.
Yeah, I remember.
And it's just all just natural too, just from like good proper diet, proper sleep, and proper let's say recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the huge reason why you've continuously been getting better and better and better.
I know the three of the main type of events for strongman I wanted to get better at was deadlift, overhead press, and just carries, which I've definitely improved on all of those. It's pretty crazy. Even like just recently, like I got a PR on strict press, and I haven't even training strict press for months. But it's amazing how just training jerks, just getting weight over your head, can really increase your shoulder strength. I was pretty blown away by that.
Not awesome, man. Let's talk about like your most recent heavy lift, especially with the Yusufel carry, like 325 for 100 feet, and also like 375 for like 30 feet.
Yeah, it's
that
amazing how much 50 pounds can really break that threshold of difficulty. But
well, that's still a PR too, and that's
really striving to push myself on these events.
Awesome, man, brother.
It's exciting.
Nice. So let's go ahead and fast forward from the Ronnie Coleman Classic from last year up to the American Heroes, and we'll just talk about how much you improved from your last novice comp.
Yeah, so I think from Ronnie Coleman Classic to American Heroes 4, it was I think it was a good 6 or 7 months to prep, which gave me plenty of time to really just kind of continue to really build up my foundation, just get general strength on everything, including like the fundamental power lifts, and then as well as the events I've been training up for. And I think spending all that time really just focusing on one competition for months, yielded incredible results. It was a very, very easy first place at American Heroes 4. Like I won basically 4 of the 5 events.
That's impressive. Was that your first time ever winning not only novice but also like any competition?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Any kind of, well, I mean, I guess if I was to go back in high school,
Well, we're not talking about high school.
yeah.
We're just talking about like strongman.
But as far as strongman career goes, yeah, it's the most I've ever, it's the most successful I've ever been.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, it's just like crazy, like how much of your performance will improve versus like training by yourself and training with a coach. And also with strongman, it can be a longevity sport if you know how to take care of your body, which you clearly do. And you've gotten bigger, you've gotten stronger, your diet's been staying clean, you've been like breaking PRs like almost every week. That's impressive. So now let's talk about your upcoming comp. And with that being said, can you talk about the name of the comp that you're currently prepping for right now, and we'll go from there?
Yeah, the name of the competition is Celtic Clash 3. It's going to be in Sherman, Texas. It's part of a Celtic festival in Sherman, which I'm really excited about. I'm a big fan of Celtic culture, and
nice.
I know how stone lifting has a lot of like ancient roots, and I've been really excited to really be a part of that. And yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Awesome. Is it like so just to be clear, is it like a Highland game / strongman competition as well?
I believe there is a Highland Games comp that's not the strongman comp. What Spence is running is strictly the strongman comp, but it's all
it's like a strongman competition at the Highland events.
Yeah,
from my understanding. That is like really cool, and it's also like, with that being said, the type of comp that you're getting prepped for, it's like the very first strongman comp that has the Highland Scottish Games influence into it. And I think that's something that we're really looking forward to. And with that being said, that particular comp that you're prepping for, which is the Celtic Clash, it's definitely one of the only strongman competitions that takes back to its actual ancient roots of strength. Mm-hmm. Especially traveling back like back in the 13th century Scotland, where they had their very first Highland Games, and that's pretty much like the first influence for strongman.
Yeah, it's
and with that being said, strongman is like the modern version of the Scottish Games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really cool. Another thing that really excites me about stone lifting being such like an ancient sport is it, in many cultures, is like a rite of passage to like, prove your manhood and stuff like that. So
absolutely,
that's another thing I'm really excited about.
And with that being said, we're trying to bring some of that here in America, and that's the whole point of my YouTube channel, is to like grow the sport of strongman, where it's just as popular as like the NFL, the MLB, NHL, and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely gonna take some time, but once we have like an army of us to spread the awareness about the sport of strongman, we could definitely grow an audience as well. And that's what I'm hoping to do, but most importantly, putting God first. And God is the reason why our sport is still continue to grow, especially here in America. Even though like the Highland Games and one of the strength sport culture is more popular in Scotland and Nordic countries, we're trying to make it happen here in America. And what's crazy about it, the sport of strongman was invented here in America but became way more popular in Europe, just like what Chef was talking about in one of my early interviews. Just because it's part of the culture, but it's not part of our culture here in America, and we're trying to make that change here. It's growing, it's getting there, but still it's going to take a while.
Oh yeah.
As long as we put God first, we'll definitely make it happen.
Absolutely.
So now moving forward, and speaking of strongman, what is it that you like about the sport?
I love that it's a really good way to because before I got into strongman, I wanted to be a powerlifter, and my cardio was terrible. And honestly, it's I don't like running on treadmills all the time. So I used to do that, but I kind of got bored of it. But it's strongman training is a great way to kind of it's like Trojan horse that stuff into your strength training. And,
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then another factor is I want to be better than just 3 lifts. I want to have good, well-rounded strength. I want to be able to manhandle anything I can pick up and touch. Which is what strongman's all about.
Gotcha. And with a good thing about strongman, it's like has a mixture of strength, mobility, athleticism, and speed.
Yeah,
For powerlifting, you only get like static strength. Even though it's an impressive sport, don't get me wrong, it's just for strongman you get like overall functionality of strength.
And I believe that also yields to better like long-term health benefits as a strength athlete, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, you've been experiencing that, and so have I, especially like out of the almost 11 years of being in the sport. But anyway, moving forward to the next question, why do you like strongman?
One thing I really love about strongman is the community. Even though it's small and still growing, it's some of the best sportsmanship I've ever experienced in anything. You know, everybody's like in competition, everyone's competing against each other, but we still cheer each other on because we want to see everyone grow and become the best versions of themselves. And I feel
Awesome.
like the community is very supportive to that.
Yeah, it's like a strength fraternity in a way, because simply we have the mutual understanding of like how challenging the sport can be at times, but also like how much respect you get just from even like being part of the strongman sport. But also like we're all very supportive as well. It's not like American football, it's not like soccer where it's like an individualized team sport where you're focusing on yourself but like working together during just games only. But out here in strongman, we support each other outside of the competitions.
Yeah.
And that's just like what it's all about, and that's what I truly love about it.
Yeah, I definitely believe in lifting others up instead of putting them down, or even if you're competing against them, you want to see everyone do their best.
Yeah, and also like that is like one of the ways of growing the sport too, and that's how we can also like make the strength culture become like more of a popular norm here in America, especially when the sport of strongman was actually made at Universal Studios in Hollywood, California, at the very first World's Strongest Man competition in 1977.
Yep.
And with the very first World's Strongest Man competition back in 1977, I could give you a little fun fact. That's the comp where Lou Ferrigno, the original Hulk, competed at.
Yep. I remember Franco Columbu also competed there. Like it was meant to be like kind of a gag at first.
It was like an entertainment show, but then it became like a sport, an actual sport the next few years later.
Yeah, like people started taking it seriously over the decades, and it's become highly competitive at the top level. But I'm glad it's reaching out to local competitions. There's websites like Iron Podium where you can find any kind of competition in the United States where you can sign up for or get your membership or whatever and just start competing. And I really believe strongman's for everyone.
Absolutely. And with that being said, moving on to the last important question of this interview, where would you like to see the sport of strongman in the next 5, 10, or 20 years from now?
I want to see it be a regular sport for high school, even middle school. Like be able to obviously scale the implements down for younger kids so they can really get into it at a younger age and fall in love with it. Because I didn't get into it till I was like in my mid-30s, and I wish I got into it when I was younger.
Yeah, there's something I wish I would have done, like especially getting into it younger, but strongman back in like the early or mid 2000s when I was in high school, it definitely wasn't near as popular then as it is now, or more well known because of social media. But now it's starting to become sort of a little more mainstream, but it has a long way to go, and that's where we're going to continue to focus on.
And I'll do my part to help.
Oh yeah, and also like make it like hopefully as mainstream like the NFL, but most importantly just put God first and everything else second, especially with the sport.
Yes.
All right, and last question before we close off this interview. How did you get the name Gnarly Horse?
Well, I mean, I do have a horse tattoo, but it's also I also got the idea for this tattoo because like my zodiac is a horse. I've always been called. When I was younger, I had the nickname Little Horse.
Okay.
And then after high school, I went by the alias Gnarly Teeth.
Gnarly Teeth. Okay.
And then I decided to combine these two names and make a new and it sounds like a really good strongman name is Gnarly Horse. Yeah,
and you've been continuously getting better and better, especially when you started your actual strongman program. Especially with me, and you've been like improving like more and more every day, and as you've been improving more and more, you're becoming more of the Gnarly Horse, and that's how you got the name. And getting a strongman name, especially like anywhere in America, that's part of the culture. You just get that nickname as part of the main initiation to strongman.
Absolutely.
And that's how you know you're a real strongman athlete, by getting your first strongman name. Just like how Eddie Hall got his name, the Beast, at the Arnold Classic for breaking that world record, I believe, back in 2014.
Yep.
And the guy who gave him the name, the Beast, was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I did not know that. That's pretty awesome.
And that's how you got the name. And also with Hathor Bjornsson, he got the name the Mountain because of Game of Thrones. That's not really Strongman affiliated, but that's definitely part of Strongman, and that was like embedded in him.
And his size definitely lives up to a name like the Mountain, for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome, and that's how you get it. And I got the name Bulldog because I'm tough, I never give up, I keep moving forward, and you're just Gnarly Horse because you're intense and you give up. But you stay quiet and stay humble outside of Strongman, but you're a different person inside of Strongman.
Absolutely.
And you know how to use your intensity at the right moment and the right time, especially during training and your competitions.
Yeah, it's definitely another thing I love about strongman. I think that's why, you know, I do kind of like flip a coin as far as like personality goes. Is you know, it is a kind of an escape from, you know, the day jobs and stuff like that, you know, the mundane stuff. Most of my career has been sedentary work, you know, just sitting in front of a desk, sitting in front of a computer, and strongman is a really great escape from that, you know. Oh
yeah, it's a great escape for a lot of people, especially with like heavy lifting. And if you want to like get into like heavy lifting and be athletic at the same time, come join Strongman. And with the very last question of this interview, if there's anyone who is new to Strongman and they're interested in competing, how can they sign up?
I mean, I definitely recommend, it's hard to find, you know, strongman gyms everywhere around the world. It's still growing, but I definitely recommend Metroflex Plano. This is a great location. I mean, it seems like half the square footage is like, you know, dedicated to strongman implements, it seems, and that's really awesome. I think it's a great place to get started. I recommend getting a coach. I recommend Dylan Bartz for sure. You know, start like looking on Iron Podium and find some local competitions. See if there's any events that you want to try first, you know, so you can kind of work up to those and see how you do. And then again, like going to competitions is going to help grow your network as a competitor and embed yourself into the community more.
Oh, absolutely. All right, cool. Well, that's pretty much the last interview. So if y'all want to be, if you're from the area, if you're from like the North Dallas area, especially here in Plano, Texas, come right here to Metroflex Gym in Plano. Come here on Saturdays, and we'll teach you how to be a better strongman. So until next time, I'll see you all later. And anything else you want to say to the camera before I close out?
I'm good, but thank you.
Anytime. All right. So if you want to be the stronger, faster, and better version of you, come here right here at Metroflex Gym in Plano, Texas. And until next time, peace. God bless. And most importantly, stay tuned.